Welcome back to the Success Portal with me, Dr. Franklin, life strategist. Uh, Today, I will be speaking to you about systems. So, when it comes to success, um, you will not succeed outside of a system. So, you need to understand whether the governmental system that you're falling under supports your life goals or is in contrary to your life goals. And then you need to make a decision as to whether you act against the system. And obviously, you have to be very careful when it comes to that because you may suffer emotional, financial, or physical harm in that process. Then you'd need to decide, should I come out of the system? And when I talk of a system, it may be a national system, or it may be a company structure, or a provincial structure. So all of these are some form of system, and these systems may either help or harm you. And then this leads me to something that I was thinking about this morning as I was just in my time of silent meditation. I asked myself a very critical question. Why do human beings move from one place to the other? We know that birds, for example, will migrate, and the reason it's at certain times in the year, and the reason is it's because of issues to do with their ability to access food. So they'll move from one continent to another. And I ask myself, why do human beings move from one country to the other, one continent to another? And these are just thoughts that I had in my mind, and I'm not actually speaking to a particular individual, but it's one of those conversations that, internal conversations that I have with myself. So I found that, and after some thinking, I realized that human beings tend to move because of geopolitical crisis, and there have been many wars that have been happening of late. You know about that. So people will move because of that and leave their home country because they're fearing that they will lose their lives. People will also move because of harsh economic conditions. People may also move because of issues to do with natural disasters like floods, earthquakes. People might also move because of famines, and all of these things are to do with survival. And the patterns of movement of human beings date back to millennia. I mean, that's how human beings were. And if you look at history, for example, and in particular, we look at Libya, and Libya is thought to be the country where the present day Egyptians, originated from. And the reason why they left certain parts of Libya and ended up settling in Egypt was because parts of Libya became desert and went kind of inhabitable. So they had to move up. So there are some individuals across the world who are xenophobic and basically anti-immigrants. My word to them is that this whole concept of people moving from one place to the other dates back millennia, and it's something that will never stop, and it's something that human beings will continue to do, and they will move instinctively because it's our inherent nature to seek ways of surviving. And because if we become passive as human beings and no longer fight for our survival, we will become extinct. So it's normal, perfectly normal, for human beings to move from one city to the other, one place to the other, one country to another. Obviously, I do know that people move for some other reasons and some wrong reasons, and those things do occur, but that is kind of the exception. most people move in order to get a better life, in order to survive. And actually, there's nothing wrong with that. And people who tend to be xenophobic, I can tell you one thing, that they probably have not traveled. They probably have only been born and lived in a particular city most of their lives. They've never stepped out of their country and to explore other countries. And some of them might tell you, I don't need to because I'm happy where I'm at. Why should I go to other people's countries? They might have that type of way of thinking. And I think it's actually a very myopic way of thinking, because when you travel, you get to experience a lot, you learn a lot, and you network. And I have found that by traveling, it opens up my mind. It helps me to understand people much better, help me understand different cultures, and also helps me to grow as an individual personally and even financially. I will just cite one example of my travels to Asia, and I stayed with the Chinese family. There, I got to understand a little bit more about their culture. Like, for example, in China, in fact, I visited Singapore, but they were a Chinese family, and I noticed the culture there was that whenever you enter the house, you leave your shoes outside. Because in Africa, we don't do that because people will steal your shoes. So, but the culture was you leave your shoes outside, you don't enter the house with your shoes. Obviously, that is beneficial in that you will avoid foreign organisms from entering the home. That's actually beneficial, but it wasn't their culture to do that. The other thing I also learned, that during meal times, everybody gets to share whatever they have. And there was a point when we went out, I ordered what I wanted, and I felt that when the food came, that was my order. This is what I wanted to eat. This is my meal. But I was a little bit embarrassed because I got to learn that in the culture, that's not how it works. I may order something, they will order what they like, and somebody else will order what they like. But when the food comes, a huge different side plates are also given to patrons at the restaurant. And what one would then do is you would share all these different choices of meals. So you never like eat your particular meal alone and say, I ordered a burger. This is my burger, so I'm going to have all of it and the chips. But you would actually share it, and that was a culture, and that was something new for me, and it helped me to be more sensitive to how they live their lives. So next time when I went out, I knew immediately that I would order something, and I should be open to sharing. So besides the things that I talked about that make people actually move from one place to another or one continent to another, I came to the conclusion that ultimately the reason that makes people move, besides natural disasters, wars and stuff like that, that obviously, it's kind of expected because we want people to be safe and all of that. But the main reason that people move is due to systems. That's the conclusion that I came down to. It's systems. I looked at Africa, for example. There are many beautiful countries in Africa. And I think of even South Africa. It has such beautiful places, such beautiful rural areas where you can actually breathe in clean air, amazing scenery. It's blessed with a whole range of flora and fauna. And it's not just South Africa. There are many other countries in Africa that have got beautiful, beautiful landscape. I mean, amazing stuff. That's why people travel from overseas just to come get into Africa, just to have an appreciation of the flora and the fauna. But we see a lot of Africans leaving Africa, going to the United States, going to Canada, going to the UK, seeking a better life. And yet Africa is so endowed with so many things. Like, it's got good weather most of the year. It's warm. Only have maybe 2 or 3 months of winter. It's got beautiful sceneries, wonderful people, rich soil, great tasting meat, great tasting vegetables, So many places in Africa are still untouched for centuries. So, and there's a huge opportunity for development and investment, but people continue to leave the country. And there is currently a brain drain, actually, in some African countries, as gifted people, and people with scarce skills are moving from Africa to abroad. But what's making them move? And I'm reiterating it again, it's systems. Basically, it boils down to systems, because I've been looking at like places where, places like Canada, for example. Canada is cold for most of the year. It's only like maybe 2 or 3 months that are warm. Temperatures currently of late in Canada, we look at the west part of Canada, fell to about minus 45 degrees Celsius. I remember about a week ago in Vancouver, there was such a huge snowfall that cars could not move. They actually gave an announcement that people shouldn't go to work unless they really have to, because it's actually dangerous to commute in such a heavy snowfall. And you look at other countries like the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. I've been there. It's blazing hot. It's very hot. It's humid. Once you get off the plane, you enter Dubai and you just go walk to the arrival terminal area. You're already sweating, despite there being aircon and all of that. And if you're walking in town, you're not under any air, not in any air-conditioned environment. Your clothes are going to be drenched with sweat. But you find that many people are still going. People are moving. People are moving in drones to United Arab Emirates, to Dubai, to Saudi Arabia. People are moving there. People are moving in drones into Canada. And yet these places don't have the best weather conditions. What is it that's making people to move from better weather conditions or more richly endowed countries with better flora, fauna, landscape, opportunities for potential for investments, but moving to these countries? What is making people do that? It's because of systems. You look at Dubai, for example, under the leadership of the Sheikh Al Maktoum. Like, the systems there are absolutely amazing, and they have a vision for their country, they have a vision for their city, and they have a system that allows people to do business without a lot of red tape. So it's all about systems. People are moving to places that have better systems. So these systems are so powerful that they've caused human resources to move into the country. These systems are so powerful that they've caused financial resources to move into the country. These systems are so powerful that they have caused the economy to improve, and actually to compete, the different economies to compete at a world-class level. And it's all about systems. So systems are very powerful. If you have a powerful system that works, you can be in the desert, people will come there. You can have a system in the middle of the Arctic. If that system works, people will go there. What is my point? My point is, your life can attract so many things if you develop a personal system for your life, a personal system for your finances, a personal system for your spiritual life, for your future. When you have systems in place in your life, they can attract things into your life. They can attract money into your life. They can attract so many things into your life. The reason why some countries are failing in Africa is because they do not have systems. And they don't have, and this system, even if they do have some sort of protocols they've set in place, those protocols or systems don't work simply because they don't believe in them. Another thing is because they are not serious about them, and there are no people that are responsible to make sure that the systems work, and also the need to put in checks and balances and maintain a certain level of integrity to mitigate corruption and all other nefarious crimes. So the main issue is a system. If you have a system for your life, you can be successful. If you have a system for your life, you can attract wealth into your life. I know for some people you may not totally get this video, but I will encourage you to come back at another time and watch it, because for me today this was an eye-opener. The importance of creating a system in your life that will attract wealth, that will attract resources, that will attract people, that will attract everything that you need in your life in order to make your dreams a reality, in order to make you successful. It is possible. Think about these things I've spoken. Systems are running this world, and your life needs to have some sort of a system. Thank you so much for listening to me. This is Dr. Franklin, Life Strategist. Goodbye.